seconds to go live. I didn't realize that till I started watching my lives back and then realized like, oh, the first like 20 seconds I'm talking is not even on there. This probably won't even be on there. All right. So I think we're almost live. Probably just give it another hour. We'll be there. YouTube will figure it out. There's vertical streaming now. Welcome to the live. This is Ample Thought. Uh, Hit subscribe and the notification because like this you'll never know when I go live unless you hit the notification, and go subscribe to Ample Thoughts at Ample Thought, just like it sounds, spell it like it sounds. It's not all churched up, but YouTube's doing a new vertical live thing, so they run these. I don't know if this one, but they run it in the shorts feed, which is really cool. YouTube, because that's another way to get massive
Oh yeah.
get fed into the algorithm because shorts pop up way more frequently. And I learned just recently that if you try to tilt your phone the other way to like do an
Hmm.
actual full screen live, it won't let you.
Hmm. Good
So
to know.
there are some going live tips for all you who potentially could be doing this. So we just want to jump on because you don't have much time, right? And my day has been absolutely insane. After the live today, I went to the bank to try to bust out $3,200 in fees that Bank of America charged me to keep a candidacy when I ran for mayor, a candidacy account at $0. They charged me $3,200 just to have the account. Fun. Great system we got set up here. So since that, I've just been nonstop, but we wanted to jump on. And
Was that mayoral race? Did that work out for you? Are you the mayor of Peabody?
no, I wish. I got 100 votes, which I was shocked because I at least talked to 50 something people. 57 signed my or 58 signed my thing.
Mhm.
Um, or it could have been 68. And I probably would say like 10 or 15 didn't sign, like when I was walking around to get signatures because they were like, I'm related to the mayor. I'm fine with what he's doing.
Yeah.
Um, So I doubt I even talked to 100 people. Again, if you don't know my situation, I'm just limited by access. I was literally riding my son's bike to get these signatures. So it was kind of cool that more people than I talked to voted for me. I consider that
Yeah.
a win.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because this guy, the guy I ran against, has been mayor for 13 years unopposed. 13 years just no opposition, and this year you started to see a lot of yard signs, the little yard
Yeah.
signs, banners. You saw a lot of advertising this year, which I've never seen. I've lived here through 3 or 4 mayoral elections, never seen it. And this year
Hmm.
he put them out. So, welcome to the live stream. If you just joined, and hit subscribe because you'll never know when we're going live unless you hit the notification and subscribe. This is Ample Thought. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel. Have you done any new content?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
You have?
got. I've been debating whether or not I'm going to do a different channel because I keep mixing my music. So I have one video that's I don't know when you go viral. I don't know what the number is, but it has like 27,000 views, I think. And it's basically about what guitar pedal videos sound like to normal humans.
Yeah.
So I did a bunch of other videos about what blank videos sound like to normal humans, black hole videos, uh, political debate videos. But
It's
it
all
seems like,
that's on and just to be clear, that's in the comedy genre, right? When
yeah,
you're uploading it.
right. So, yeah, I mean, it's going fine. I hope people want to get into that. I actually did a recent one about things nobody says about Trump, which is like me just saying, like, man, he's decisive, or he sure loves Eric, or whatever. So I'm just,
He sure
I mean,
loves he sure loves Eric. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, of
That's
all
his
his children, Eric is the one. And did you know? I found this out yesterday. Eric Trump's birthday is January 6th.
Oh, get out of here, really?
Yeah. His actual birthday is January 6th, which is, hey,
That's
happy birthday, buddy.
that is why they planned it for that day. That
Yeah.
is like this guy will do anything to hit void Eric's birthday so much so he's like, Eric, I would love to attend that at Chuck E. Cheese. I
Oh, but
mean
I
it
got
this
this
time.
thing. I got
I
this coup thing.
can't miss
It's
it.
don't worry about it, kid. Next
Can't miss
year.
it.
Next year,
Pence is gonna
Eric.
be there. I promise. Promise next year. We won't have like a anniversary on this thing. This is gonna be a one-time bit.
Okay, Dad. Dad, just hug me.
That poor kid. Where was he out of? Because DJ TJ was involved in that whole January 6th thing. I think Eric is the only one we haven't heard about. Oh, that should be a meme. Eric sitting at a Chuck E. Cheese by himself, going, "Wonder where everybody's at." Just popping a
They'll
cone,
come.
popping a
They'll come
cone.
eventually.
Poor guy. That poor bastard. Actually, no, I don't feel bad for him at all. Him and his
I
brother
don't
like
feel bad for him either.
hunt jaguars and all that stuff. They're rubbish. That whole family.
Don't say
God.
rubbish. You're not from London. Stop saying rubbish.
That's what we say here. Wait until you come to Massachusetts. You'll hear.
I've
We say
been to
rubbish.
Massachusetts, man.
Not the
I
right
know it.
parts then.
Yeah, whatever. All
Wait,
right.
where have you been in Massachusetts?
I mean, I've been to Boston plenty.
Oh, yeah.
But like
And you haven't heard
Wellesley and
rubbish?
I mean, yes, I've heard rubbish. I still hate it.
Yeah, go to the South Shore. That's what all my family, that's all they call the trash. Rubbish. Put in the rubbish. That's funny. They got a
Hmm.
bunch of words like
And
that. Like,
supper.
yep,
Get
supper.
yourself some supper.
Dungarees. My cousin wears
Dungarees.
dungarees.
I love dungarees.
Isn't that a brand name though? Wasn't that?
I think it
Or-
was back
yeah.
in the day, but like even the military calls them dungarees, like just pants.
Oh,
Or
really?
yeah, or coveralls. Like put on your dungarees, or get your dungarees, or put on.
Oh, that's so funny. I thought that was like for a while I thought that was a my family thing. And then I realized like more New Englanders say that, but that's interesting to find out that the military even calls it dungarees.
I think maybe I could be wrong. Maybe it's limited to the Navy. I was in the Navy, so maybe that's what it's limited to. But yeah, boot camp we called them dungarees.
Um, so what do you want to talk about? Anything? I didn't really get to look up anything. I've literally been from 7 this morning until you and I talked. I've just been go, go, go. And it sucks because I like to like peruse the news. And do you know I saw two videos that I wanted to actually tell you about because we talked about Kyle Chippewa, I'm not going to say his last name correct, and his book on the algorithms and how they're flattening our culture. I thought you and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
talked
yeah,
about that, right?
yeah. We
And
talked
I
about
really
that. Yeah.
wanted to get that book. And that book looks super fascinating. He just did an interview with who's the guy that was leading all the strikes? Like Adam Knows Everything. Do you know that dude, the blonde hair, streaky hair guy?
Yes, I know.
I forget
I
his name.
It's like Conlin or
Yes. Yes, something like that.
Condon, something like that.
Something. Oh God, I wish I got again. This is very last minute, but he
Conover.
yes, I think it's Adam Conover because he's got a
Okay.
YouTube channel where he does a show called or a podcast called Factually, and
Hmm.
he interviews him, which I've only watched like the first 2 minutes of the interview part. What?
It's a really stupid kid.
Okay.
Get in jail.
Okay. I will be out there in a minute.
Someone was trying to snipe us.
Okay, buddy. I know. I'll tell you. Listen, Fortnite's got an update coming out, and he is losing his mind. So Adam Conover, if you get a chance,
Factually with Adam Conover on Apple Podcasts.
yeah, but he plays the video on YouTube, so he's got a whole YouTube channel, and I think it really was released today. Again, YouTube with their algorithms are just not the best. You don't get alerts all the time. That's why it's important to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And they start to talk about that, and it's such a like only the couple first minutes I heard was such a fascinating um conversation because and working in radio and you working in media too, you understand that at one point humans were not dictating but really the filter of what the sound would be, what people's taste for TV was going to, and that was an art form. I mean, whether you
Yeah,
agree with it or not,
absolutely.
that was a real art form. And now the thing I loved is they said were we speak about the algorithm like it's this all-seeing eye, like like it is the one algorithm to rule them all, and it's not.
No.
Like Facebook's is Mark Zuckerberg's algorithm. On
Yep.
YouTube, I don't know, that Susan lady left, so I don't know who the CEO is now. I know there's a new one. um and these are all different, very meticulously curated algorithms for these specific mediums. And Adam started talking about how when I first went to TikTok, I thought the algorithm was great because it was showing me these new things. but you slowly learn that it's just machine learning essentially that is providing the tastes, the acquired
Yeah.
tastes of your viewing, which is so, I still don't have the words for how like depressing that is. You know, that it's no longer human, it's zeros and ones deciding what content should be pushed to the top. And I don't know if you were on the lives or watching the live stream I did the other day. If you, I love to go to YouTube trending because I'm
Yeah.
always praying. I pray that there's like, you know, like your what guitar video pedal sounds like would hit a
Yeah.
trending. No, but you know what I mean? Like, let's say
Yeah.
you have 280 subs, right?
Yeah.
And that video got how many views?
27,000
So
or
what
20
percent?
somewhere there.
Okay, so let's just call it 28,000, right? Just for math,
Okay.
easy math. That would be a 1,000% increase. I don't have a calculator. I don't know.
Oh, it's yeah. I mean, you're saying from 280 subs to all the people?
To how many views that video got, right? Mathematically, that's a 1,000% ratio. You
Well,
know,
1,000 times.
yeah,
So
that's what I mean. Sorry,
the
1,000
percent
times.
would be different, but yes.
But so what I'm saying is like that it that smokes Mr. Beast's ratio. Like he
I think
had
100 times, not 1,000 times. 1,000 times would be 280,000.
okay, yeah, you're right. Again, bad
So
at math.
100 times.
But 100 times. So Mr. Beast video, when I did that live, he has 240 million subscribers, and that video had 70 million views. That's like a third. No, again, bad at math. That's like a eighth. Nope. Again, bad at math. But it's like a fraction. It's not a
It
hundred.
is. Of that, we can be certain that it is a fraction of some sort.
There are
I'll
numbers
buy
on
you an
top.
abacus for frickin' Christmas or St. Patty's Day.
There we go. Oh, what does your leprechaun bring you? My leprechaun brings, or the kid's leprechaun brings them little shots of whiskey and stuff.
I was gonna say I usually get whiskey or oh, I gotta tell you about the pyramid. This is a yearly thing and something that boost my radio cred when I was on radio in Las Vegas. So, starting from the time I was 21, literally when I was 21 to about 29, us Irish guys would get together and we had a pyramid, and on the bottom was 4 pints of Guinness. Then it was three Jaeger bombs because some of us had some German in us or whatever. Then it was then it was two shots of Jameson, and then it was one shot of the most expensive, like Irish whiskey we could find, which I can't
Johnny
remember
Walker.
what it was called. Oh no, I'm sorry, I messed that up. It was St. Brendan's. It was just it's like a coffee liqueur type of thing, like a Bailey's or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
so
Bailey's
you
are
had
good.
that pyramid, and we would drink starting at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not recommending this. This was not alcoholics getting together. It was just once a year. Anyway,
No, this is alcoholics getting together. Let's be clear.
this was so we would start to drink, and nobody ever got past two full pyramids. But the rules of it were that we would drink. You couldn't cuss, you couldn't fall down, you couldn't throw up, and you couldn't get in a fight.
Where
So at
would you
some
be? In a room
at a
by yourself?
bar, at a
Oh, at a
bar,
bar.
we were at
Oh,
a sailor bar back in the day. This is in Washington State, and then later in Vegas. But um, every year there would always be one guy standing, and I think it started with 7 of us. It went up to 12 of us. Everybody in the first hour would like a bunch of people would get out from cussing.
yeah. I would have been
The
out before the first drink. I would have just been knocked out.
the fourth year, I got up to the last two every single year, except for the first year and the fourth year. The fourth year, I got in a fight. I almost won, and then I got in a fight. But the first year, I got out just like everybody else did from cussing. I mean, it lasted 2 hours.
So wait, and
You
you got
couldn't.
to drink. You got to drink the 4 Guinnesses first,
Yep.
and then the 3 shots, and
We
then
had
the.
them set up like
Oh, you
bowling
bought them
pins.
all?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I now
Everybody
understand what
would
you're saying.
have a pyramid in front of them.
Oh, all right.
There's
I
like
thought it was just
$500 worth of stuff.
I was gonna say, yo, that's a big bar tab, but I thought you meant like what you had to order was like 4 Guinnesses once you got through those. But that sounds insane. So you just had the drinks lined up like this? Yeah, that's a
Yes.
meeting of the alcoholics.
And
And now
so
every year they go to a meeting.
whoever won, we would buy them something nice. And every year we always put it up and up and up and up. So I think the first year we bought them like one of those square foot plot of land in Ireland. So you can buy it. There's a registry, and it's just 1 square foot, right?
The ones that they advertise on YouTube,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the scam ones. Did you see
This
that?
was way back in the day.
Oh,
This
this
was
is when
like,
it was legit.
I mean, I don't know if it was ever legit, but whatever. You get a constellation named after yourself. You get
Yeah.
a plot of land in Ireland. Anyway,
You got an elephant
so
that's your pet in Africa. I know. My kids have
the
them.
last year we did it, I think was in 2008. Yeah, I think it was in 2008. We bought the guy who won um, a trip to Ireland, to Dublin for 5 days, 4 nights, or whatever, or 4 days, 5 nights. But he won, and he wanted to win every year. We never gave it to him, but this dude was the most Irish of all of us. Like, he wanted to win, and he would always fall over, or he would cuss or whatever. But we got him that. His name is Charles. Um,
Xavier?
Charles
Oh,
Patrick Atkins. He has the biggest tattoo of a shamrock on his neck you've ever seen in your life. And he
oh.
named his daughter Ireland Emerald Atkins, who is my goddaughter. And I'm just going to say this last funny part about that, and then we'll continue on about a few things. But anyway, I was at the hospital when she was born, and he was like, we're going to have to meet you at the house. So I go to the house. They eventually come home or whatever, and his wife Leanne was like, Brendan, I'd like you to meet your goddaughter. This is Ireland Emerald Atkins. And I was like, oh Jesus, oh my God, that's an ugly baby. Oh God, oh God, please take it away. And I like give back the baby, and she's like, oh my God, you're so mean, whatever. That girl grew up to be one of the most beautiful kids I've ever seen in my life. Like, I saw her again when she was like 12 or something. She was
is
just,
she a redhead, blue-eyed Irish baby?
she had brown hair
Oh,
when I
okay.
saw her, but she did have either green eyes or blue eyes, which I don't think Leanne had. I think she had brown eyes. But anyway, um, it was it was great. So
That's cool. That's a cool
yeah,
game. I don't
was a
think
cool game.
I would have never. Well, I mean, if you put a a trip of Ireland on the board, I would have just taped my mouth shut or something. Had a
That was the
sippy.
last year, and everybody who was either in the Navy or associated with that group of guys, like we all went our separate ways after 2008, 2009. So we
That's
never
a
did
cool
it
send
again. But
off though. And if you're young and looking for something crazy to do, again, I don't recommend it. I don't think you recommend it, but that sounds like a young man's sport.
well, I mean, it was also really sweet because one last thing, one of the guys who won, I think it was the second to last year, um, basically the rest of us got together for the guy who won, and we catered a romantic evening for him and his wife. So, like, one guy played piano, like, he brought his wife home. Um, he like rubbed her feet while our friend played piano. I was cooking. We made like, you know, I mean, we say Irish or whatever, but corned beef and cabbage and potatoes, obviously, and brown bread. We made brown bread and an Irish stew, and like set up dessert for them. And
That sounds like a prank gift, like having all
no,
your
no, no,
friends
no.
do something like that.
We went in with like suits and everything, and she was like over the moon about it. He was like, oh my God, this is way worse, way better than any other gift you guys could come up with. He said that
That's
years later. But anyway,
yeah. No, that's hilarious.
by the way,
Uh,
CEO of YouTube, Neil Mohan.
that's the new guy. I seen a
Yep.
video featuring him because he was saying some crazy out the pocket stuff like he was gonna help YouTube. I don't know. He was saying some stuff that seemed like he was pandering to the YouTube crowd. And I was
He's
like,
actually from Indiana.
really?
The CEO of
Where'd he
YouTube is
come
from
from?
Lafayette, Indiana.
And do you know, was he like a homegrown
His
boy? Did he work?
background's Indian, I believe. He might be Sri Lankan. I can't remember, but
I wonder
his
what business
he
he
was
was
born
from.
in Lafayette, Indiana.
If because like
Uh,
these all these CEOs are just like passed around like used maids. Hold on.
yeah,
What's up?
he went to Stanford.
Yeah, you can. Oh yeah, I forgot to give you a snack. Yeah, go get one, buddy. Went to Stanford, of course. Where did he get hired from though? Does it say? Um, who
He's a
who had?
board member of Stitch Fix and 23andMe.
Yep, there it is.
There it
There
is.
it is. There it is.
Double
No.
click Google. Oh, he worked for Google. That's what it was. And then he was a board member of Twitter. He helped acquire, or Google acquired DoubleClick, whatever the hell that is, and he managed that acquisition through Invite Media and worked for them, and that was it.
Hold on, buddy. I'll be done in 1 second. Okay, I will in 1 second. Yeah, those CEOs, when you start to read like when the new CEOs come in, or even worse, like in 2014, I forget what the CEO of McDonald's was, who just completely trashed it in the golden parachute he had out the door.
Yeah.
But usually, like you're saying, like they're board members, they're already within the family of companies. Because I see all these in radio, there's a lot of I don't want to say CEO, but regional managers getting moved
Mm-hmm.
around, and it just sucks
Mm-hmm.
because I don't really believe you can fix certain problems with people who have been there doing the old way. You know what I mean? Like new blood always helps in a situation where something needs to be done, like let's say YouTube. God knows it's a perfect app. Thank you for the abilities. But
I mean, you could say new blood in a bunch of different contexts. I mean, I don't think anyone who got bought out by Bain Capital would say that Mitt Romney was not new blood. I mean, that he was new blood. He definitely wasn't, but he would buy a company and then fire everybody and sell it.
yeah, that's what he did at iHeart, or it was Clear Channel. It was either Clear Channel or iHeart.
I think it was Clear Channel. I don't
Yeah.
think iHeart existed yet.
No, because I remember those meetings. They pull us onto a meeting, tell us about the new name and how we're all going to do 3 jobs now and not get paid differently, while all of our close friends were getting fired. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
look what happened: massive debt and Ryan Seacrest everywhere. You're welcome. Thanks to Mitt Romney. I just seen Ryan Seacrest doing an ad, which I always joke about that. I'm like, Ryan Seacrest is going to be the only radio personality across America. And now he's featured in like Chumbawamba Casino. I forget what the name is. Chumba Casino on YouTube.
No, it's down in San Diego. It's called not Chula Vista. God, what is that called? Not Topanga, Cahuenga. I can't remember the name of it. I know what
It's
you're
not
talking
that
about, though.
casino. It's not. It's
It's
not.
not.
It's an online casino. No, I know the
Oh,
casinos in San Diego. Trust me, I hit those up a bunch of times. Never took any money home. Um, but it's not that one that you're thinking of. It's literally a. Oh man, it's still in my Google thing
I'm
because I
gonna
was
look at
looking
it.
it up.
Hold on.
But it's just funny because it's just like
Oh,
a picture of
Chumba.
Chumba. Yeah, see, Chumbawamba Casino,
Well, I
and
don't know about
he is
Chumbawamba, but
advertising for it. I'm just like, this guy is.
Virtual Gaming Worlds.
And
That's what
there's
it's called.
YouTube videos on it. I was like so depressed, man, because all you see everywhere. I know we talk about this a lot, but like DraftKings, uh, Chumba Casino. What are the other? They're all like DraftKings to me. It's like
Yeah,
there are so many gambling apps now, but we can't have
not in
healthcare.
Indiana. You can't gamble online. I don't think in Indiana. Like you can't have MGM or FanDuel or
That's the other one.
anything to make money. Like there's no. You can go to the casino. I think we have like 4 of them. There's one in
So wait,
Evanston.
do you not see those ads? Are they restricted in Indiana?
I mean, they come up every now and then, but they don't generally come up because, like, even on TV when I used to watch cable all the time, I would see something for FanDuel, but it wasn't because of the local station. It was like just a
The
national drop or whatever.
I want you to, when you come to Boston, I want you to take a little time and just go scroll through YouTube or Where else do I see him? Advertise like banner ads and stuff. I just want you to
Hmm.
notice because we have been bombarded as soon as they legalized it a few years ago. It's like you cannot look any direction without seeing Rob Gronkowski in an empty mansion telling you how much you should risk your life savings on a sports game. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
infuriating. This girl I work with, she's so sweet, she's young, and she got into these gambling apps. And she was telling me she was gambling on the Oscars last year.
Yeah,
No joke.
I've done that before. I've done that before.
Through a
I don't.
gambling app? Like officially.
I don't know if it was through a gambling app. I think maybe we just had bookies
Well,
back
that
in the
well,
day.
listen, listen, allegedly there was a lot of like underground things you could bet on a long time
Oh
ago when
yeah.
I was working in radio. I'm saying like she had the app on her phone. She was like, "What do you think I should bet on
Oh,
for?"
she might have one of those was it a VCN or God, every now and then when I watch the Majority Report or whatever, or any of the debate shows that I watch or whatever, they'll have a sponsor for
VPN? A vibrant
VPN. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
not VCN. Yeah,
No, I have one of
VPN.
those because if you need to pretend you're somewhere else for whatever
Right.
reasons.
Yeah.
But no, she uses like a legal app in Massachusetts. It's like a FanDuel or DraftKings. But
Mm.
it's like I thought sports was the only thing. Well, I don't know why I thought that. That's very naive of me. But apparently anything, the Oscars, Golden Globes, you can bet on any of it. Because she'll ask me, she'll be like, "Hey, did you see any of the best pictures? What do you think this person's going to be wearing?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" She's like, "Well, I want to put some money on it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is like absolutely insane." But they do it, and you can find it. I'll ask her what she gambles on because she has the app and she does put money, which I thought was so just weird because I was asking her, I was like, "Aren't the Oscars rigged? We're not rigged, but like,
They're
aren't they
not
just
rigged.
aren't?
Robbie, do I need to go into a history lesson and tell you how it works? Having grown up in the academy,
But
I could tell you.
are they really voted on?
Yeah, they really are. My grandpa was one of them who used to like be one of the judges who would nominate a film. So, like in the Academy, for example, if you remember, and I'll parse it by saying that a lot of things happened in the early 2000s and mid 2000s. Jada Pickett Smith was one of them, saying that like nobody who other than an actor, producer, or director should be able to come up with the nominees, which she was eventually shot down, but then she started restricting what other members could have. For example, and then I'll get back to that point, we used to get from the time I was a baby until my dad passed away or got out of the business, whatever, was we would get screeners in
Oh
for
yeah,
movies. So we'd get screeners, and I mean, we got laser discs when way back in the day when they first came out. Like Superman 3, I think was the first laser disc that Warner Brothers or Paramount, whoever it was, ever produced. Um, that was ever produced. It was for that movie. Top Gun was another one. But anyway, my point is that she didn't want non actors guild people to get screeners, which is ridiculous if you think about all the film editors, all the gaffers, all the people who like just really pour their entire lives into making feature films and TV. Like, don't even want to get into that. But anyway, the board of the board of trustees would say we are putting this committee of judges in control of what films can be nominated. And the director or the producers of any film would say, we would like you to consider this film. So almost every film would say, hey, we're good at film editing. Put us up for film editing, please. You take that list of 300 films or whatever, you whittle it down to what used to be 4 or 5. And now for Best Picture is like 11 or 12. It's ridiculous. It's not
yeah.
even funny anymore. But anyway, then the actual Academy members vote on it. My dad used to get a ballot. Everybody gets the same ballot, and that goes in and it's tallied. And I
They
forget
don't
the
have benefactors like the Supreme Court,
no.
where Jada Pinkett Smith says, "Hey, Will Smith is in Bad Boys 4, and he'd like to
Where
send you a
it's
little
where
gift.
I would say anybody can make an argument of it being rigged is in those um, films which are nominated. So to be nominated, like one of those people is guaranteed to win. Nobody else is guaranteed to win. So I mean, it is to a certain extent a popularity contest.
Well, yeah, and
If
isn't
you are
the
if you're
origins though?
friends with Clint Eastwood, for example, one of the most influential people at Warner Brothers ever, I assure you. Um, if you're friends with Clint, and because he always uses the same film editors, I mean, for years and years, he chose the same sound editors. My dad being one of them, my grandpa being a supervising sound editor, my cousins, my uncles. Like, I mean, there's nepotism, but um, if you have those crews, Marty Scorsese works with the same people, but it's super big. Like Mel Gibson has, pardon me for saying it, touched a lot of people in the industry. Um, a lot of these people have big crews. So at a certain point, it's kind of a popularity contest because there can be only so many degrees of separation or independence with nominating those films. But the actual voting is not rigged.
Yeah, but that's what I was kind of getting at, the popularity contest of it all, and even like the origins of these award shows, where it's just kind of to promote itself, and you look
Oh,
at and that's why,
totally self-masturbatory.
yeah, and that's why like joking about the benefactor, like what's his name, Kavanaugh just got his $200,000 credit debt paid off, $92,000 uh, country club paid for the year by an
Kavanaugh?
anonymous. Yeah, Brett Kavanaugh just did. By an anonymous benefactor, right? Just a good person helping him out, who's
Yeah.
supposed to be impartial judge, but then obviously ruled on the Colorado Trump court hearing. Um, so that's what I was saying. Like you were saying, these people have wide girths of crews and people that are obviously in their corner because if they win, that their next film brings in more
Yeah.
money, they get paid. So, but again, I just think it's weird to circle it back that people are betting on it when they know, like if there's a big, I guess there would be sometimes that a best picture really could just be anything, but I think there's a lot of years where you're like, we know what it's gonna be. We know what it's gonna be. I stopped watching all those things after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Well, if everybody knew what it was going to be, everyone would win their betting pools, and that never happened.
I don't know how long people have been betting on these things. That's what I'm. If you bet, listen.
Since
If
the
you're
1920s?
no officially, like
No, I
we
mean officially. Since the 1920s.
we haven't had betting apps since the 1920s.
I'm not talking about betting apps. You just said betting. I'm
Yeah,
saying people have been betting on the Oscars since the 1920s when they first started.
yeah. Nobody could go to Vegas to do that though. Now it's in the palm of your hand. It's so weird. Um. So yeah, that's a fascinating thing. What else you want to talk about?
Well, we
Oh,
could
you got
just
to
go
go
into
soon. I
that.
didn't realize it was
No,
5:10.
I do. I'm going to. But on that note, I actually don't like electronic betting anymore in any
Wait, did
form.
you at
Like,
some point? Hold on. So did you? Do
oh,
we
I
gotta
did. Yeah,
say
when
that?
I lived in Vegas, you can't escape it. But I was never a gambler. Like, I was the type of guy who would hit a slot machine. Yoda being my favorite slot machine back in the day. There was a Star Wars one, I think, in the Bellagio, and I would just go to that. I would hit it, and as God is my witness, I would win every time. First time I hit it, very first pull, it was like $200, and I walk away. Um, Electronic betting at bars, every bar in the entire town, or Henderson, or Pahrump, Las Vegas, like any of those places. If you walk into a bar and there's electronic betting, drinks are free because you're just pumping money into it. But I loved playing Texas Hold'em,
Yes.
and I
Oh
never
gosh.
got to play enough. And everywhere else where you do electronic Texas Hold'em, there really is no skill to it. I mean,
Oh wait,
it's
you're talking about oh virtual Hold'em. I thought you meant
yeah.
like
No, I prefer person to person,
Yeah, yeah.
actual tournaments and stuff like that. If you go in for a 1-2 game or a 2-4 game or God help you a 5-10 game, and you have that kind of money to spend on, a good amount of poker. If I go in for $50, it's probably a 1-2 game, 2-4 game. And I'm playing with 8 other people in an hour, usually in Vegas, I could make quite a bit of money. And then the next tournament comes up. I mean, it depends. I don't want to get into it, but it used to be fun to play Texas Hold'em, and you can't you can't do it. At least you can't do it in Indiana. Like everything is electronic. Texas Hold'em or any card game or Baccarat, Pai Gow, like all of them. 21 is the silliest of all of them. But craps, nobody knows how to play craps. There's still a 51% chance that you're going to win on craps, but that's the highest it'll ever go, which
Hmm.
is basically 50-50. And that's somebody who really, really knows. And I worked at casinos in Vegas. I worked at the Venetian and I worked at Wynn Casino before Encore came around. But um, yeah, I miss being able to actually have that interaction, but the world is nuts now. I mean, you can't get into a decent poker tournament in Vegas or any Atlantic City or anywhere else for less than what 5-10 grand.
Oh,
And
Jesus, really?
I'm not playing. Yeah, I'm not blowing that. And the other people get invited for free. Like the
Oh,
same veterans who have been doing it forever, they don't pay $25,000-$50,000 to go to the WSOP. They get invited for free.
yeah, because it's the name draw. That's the nepotism in the game, buddy. They do
Almost
that,
anyway.
and then people want to claim to be the one that took them out.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot that goes to that, but anyway.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I know you got to get going.
Did you
You
have any more questions? Because you're live earlier. You were like, "Hey, Apple Thought, what's the name of that thing?" And I just TikTok away, and I can't remember what the lag is, but sometimes you'll ask a question, and I respond like immediately, and either you're not looking down, or it
no,
takes like a
there's
2-minute lag or something.
yeah, there's something on the lives because what I've noticed is people will type something or I'll respond to something, and then there's quite a difference in, like if I just waited for the response to come in, I think there would be a good amount. We could test it at some point though, because I think there would be like maybe a 30-second delay. Because I notice when people reply, I've asked that
Moved
question,
on.
waited for a second, and then moved on. But there's got to be, this live stuff is still magical to me. It's like, this is black magic voodoo. Imagine
Yep.
going back in time and to whenever Civil War, Revolutionary, the fall of Rome, and having something like this. Like you couldn't be the only one with the phone, but having somebody else would be like, I got to FaceTime. I would just love to see people. People would have a heart attack. It would be so, you'd be worshipped
No,
as like King
it
Tut.
would be George from Back to the Future hearing Eddie Van Halen
Yeah.
from the planet Vulcan.
Oh, you know
George.
what? You know the other story, because I was reading stories earlier before I did the live earlier, and there was another. I was looking up all the movies that are coming out this year, and they're rebooting Roadhouse, and they're
Yeah,
doing a second Beetle. Oh, you already knew about that one? I had
I
no
heard
idea.
about that.
Okay, they're doing a second Beetlejuice, and oh shit, I'm not gonna remember. Vanity Fair, I believe it's Vanity Fair article. If anybody wants to check it out,
Oh,
it's like the
cool.
top movies of or the movies that are supposed to come out in 2021.
Anticipated.
Yeah, and there was another reboot, and I thought this is wild, because I think you and I read the article a while back about how was it someone at HBO Max or one of these big companies said like we're not going to invest our time and money into anything new. Oh, I think it was Disney. I think it was Bob
Mm.
Iger who said we're not looking to like branch out and get new stories or anything when it comes to like
Yeah,
the big
yeah.
flicks, and he was like we're going to focus on prequels, sequels and reboots. And I was just in my head I was like, "Oh, we're fucked. We're all fucked." Like that is the worst thing for anyone creative wherever, unless it really gets like a green light or somehow catches an algorithm, or I just feel bad for so many people trying to come up now in a day of, we got to please the investors, the shareholders have to have their sum. So
Okay, but okay, so take out two things. Take out Fast and Furious and take out Star Wars and tell me one movie franchise that has had, well, fuck, I would have to say take out the Avengers too, like for the MCU or whatever. But specifically, I was thinking like, remember how many Nightmare on Elm Street movies there were when we were kids? And do you remember how many Friday the 13th
oh
and
yeah.
Halloween and I mean Aliens technically mixed with the Predator and like all of that, but like Jason versus Freddy. I mean, when we were kids, there were a lot of sequels and reboots, and I mean, it hasn't changed that much. And
Yeah, but
I,
think about like, so in that era, think about Gremlins, E.T., like you said, Back to the Future. I mean, I know there were sequels and they were trying to, sometimes they were just trying to cash in on like the genius of that, or even like all the John Hughes movies or John Singleton at the time. Like these guys that were kind of paving new ways and making um I don't want to say creating genres because they weren't, but establishing the genre of whatever. And I feel like that's kind of being decimated right now. Only time will tell. In 10 years we'll know. But when the biggest head of the biggest um media creation company, Imagineer, that's what I'm looking at. For the
mm,
biggest Imagineer at Disney in all of the world, Disney, there's no one that can surpass Disney. When he
no.
says like we're gonna stick to like prequel, sequels, and reboots, which is their lineup. There's a Mufasa, The Lion King prequel coming out this year, which me and my kids are ecstatic for. But like they're rebooting live action Moana. They're trying to think what else. Oh, they're doing the sequel to Inside Out. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I do, but I mean, I have branched out so much, especially in the last 10 years. I mean, I have a tattoo on my arm and it says subtitles on. And
oh, I thought you were
it's
gonna say
because
no sequels. That's the tattoo I'll
no,
get. Says no.
subtitles on, and then I got like uh Pan's Labyrinth on there, whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I love foreign films. I love reaching out to things. I love independent things. A friend of ours, a guy named Danny Chan, was a producer on a movie that was huge. I want to say 2 years ago now. Barbarian. Did you ever see that?
Hmm.
So one of the guys from not the state. What was? Oh, The Whitest Kids You Know.
Oh,
So a guy
great
named
show.
Krager from that show became a director, and he wrote and developed this, and or he directed it. Danny, among other people, helped produce it, and it was so good. It was so original and kind of silly, and still very much giving a nod to like the 80s and 90s kind of horror style with the new spin on it with the Airbnb. I mean, just certain things. I love finding things like that, and Danny's still doing more stuff. I mean, he's producing stuff left, right, and center. I love independent filmmakers. I love new um, ideas, and I think they will keep coming, even if they're going to be with a lower budget, whether that's through Netflix. Pardon me for saying Netflix, but Netflix, Sense8, Focus Features have always been just mwah, the creme de la creme. Anything Denis Villeneuve does, or Inarritu, who did The Revenant, the guy who did Roma. Did
Hmm.
you ever see the movie
No, I didn't
Roma?
see it. I know what you're talking about though.
So once Parasite got the Academy Award and Roma got the Academy Award, I was like, you know what, we're going to be all right. Because if these foreign films can make it as the best picture in America, then it's good. Like Korea, whether it's Korea or Mexico or Spain or Portugal or France or um, Brazil, whatever. Like I'll watch them all. I just
Yeah,
hope more and
but
more
it's
come out and have staying power. But I think The younger people are that see these things as opposed to the Avengers, which I still agree is not. It's not cinema. It's a cartoon. It's a what do you call those frickin' things? It's a comic on TV. It's Sin City,
Graphic
um,
novel.
graphic novel.
Salute to
I
all the
mean, so
nerds.
I'm not saying it's not work, and I'm not saying that people didn't put money into the movie and work their ass off to make that happen, especially the computer engineers and graphic artists and all of that, special artists. But um,
I just so what concerns me with
it's
that and
not
like
cinema.
Disney, um, paving the way for other companies to follow suit and go, oh, if they're going to make money that way and bolster bolster their shareholders' dividends or pockets. What concerns me is like growing up. So, because my son, we started watching. Just he loves like the Ghostbusters franchise from the '80s. What was the other? There's a few other ones like Indiana Jones. We were just going through like all those, late
Yeah,
80s
yeah.
good flicks. But the interesting thing is like those were adult kid movies or kid adult. I don't know how to
I
describe
know
it.
what you mean.
It's like a
Yeah,
genre all to itself, It's
yeah.
like I
Goonies is
remember
another one like that.
what one?
Goonies.
Oh, yes, yes. So Goonies, there's a whole I it it's a weird
Christopher Columbus, like Home Alone and all of that stuff. Ivan Reitman did a bunch of
yes.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's good.
So, and those movies, like, I feel like they don't, there's such a divide nowadays. And to cut out like the Labyrinth, Never Ending Story. I'm trying to think. There's so many of them that we've just been going back through with the kids because we tried watching when they were younger, and I think they were too young. And now
Sure.
they really love them, and I think it's gonna mean a loss, to those kind of huge blockbuster movies that adults could take. Like I remember going to see those with my aunts, and you could watch them with your parents and everybody.
Well, you're saying
Arachnophobia.
huge, but like I'll remind you, Neverending Story was Canadian
Oh
and it
yeah,
did
yeah.
not make a whole lot of money. It came out of Orion Pictures, if I'm not mistaken, which was a decent production company, but they were like tailing end by the mid 90s and then obsolete by 1999. Like they were done. Um, so yeah, you're talking about films that come in and they seem so much bigger when we were kids. I mean, certain movies were huge, but like I wanted to say this one last thing, and then I do have to go.
Oh
Madam
yeah.
Web. Madam
Yeah.
Web just came out, and
Did you
it's
see it?
no, 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 and I probably won't. But anyway,
Or
box office failure, and Dakota, whatever
Fanning?
her name is, what?
Fanning?
No, the other one, Johnson, Dakota Johnson,
Oh, okay.
is the main star in that. She got big from 50 Shades of Grey and all that. She has already said, "Yeah, I kind of knew it was going to be a failure," but trust me, the companies are going to put millions of it. Look at Solo from Disney. When Han Solo movie came out, it was a failure beyond a failure. But now you have somebody like Denis Villeneuve who's doing Dune 2, and I trust Stephen Colbert for certain things. Movies isn't always one of them. But he said yesterday, Dune 2 is the perfect movie. So I'm going to watch it. I enjoyed the first one. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. When I see a perfect movie, it carries me for a year or two or three. When I saw There Will Be Blood, I was like, perfect movie. There is
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that movie. No Country for Old Men. Nothing wrong with that movie. Hell or
Dark
High
Knight
Water.
Rises.
No Dark Knight.
Yeah,
So,
Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight,
mm, mm,
both those.
mm, mm.
Heath Ledger and Tom Hardy as the villains. There's
Tom
no
Hardy's
better.
amazing. Has
He is.
nothing to do with
I know.
no. Dark Knight Rises. Nah, nah.
Perfect movie.
Um. Anyway, which is why
Yeah.
it's subjective and it's lovely, and we can argue.
Um. But so just to your point, real quick, the Madam Web and
Yes.
what was the other one you just said before Dune? What was the other one you
Mm.
said? You said another one.
Solo. Solo.
Solo. Those are both what, prequels and semi sequels?
Sure.
Solo wasn't that like supposed to be
Spin-offs.
a young. Oh, so Solo wasn't a like prequel to Star Wars? I really don't
It's
understand that.
one of those spin-off, like, prequel spin-off things or whatever, but it
So they're
was
still playing. They're
terrible.
playing the safe bet, and that's what
Yeah, I guarantee
sucks.
you that they didn't make their money. They probably still haven't made their money, and that came out 6, 7 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to it. This stuff's boring. All right, let's wrap it up, and then you stay in touch, and we will go live again. Please hit subscribe and the notification bell so you are alerted when I go live, and subscribe to Ample Thought.
And we may go live if Rob can make it happen. This guy, I think it's that way. Can make
You're
it
coming
happen
out to
for going live in Boston.
Yeah, you're coming out to Boston, so we'll just stand next to each other and have the phone. I'll get you a
Yeah,
purple background.
yeah. All right, man.
All right,
Good seeing
brother.
everybody.
Good to see you.
Peace out.
Peace.